So today we're taking a deep dive into SoundHound AI. Now they're making a pretty audacious play to become the go-to independent voice for artificial intelligence, and that means taking on some of the biggest names in tech. But is this all just ambition, or can they actually pull it off? Let's get into it.
Okay, let's just kick things off with the number that's got everyone talking. A staggering 99% jump in year-over-year revenue, hitting nearly $169 million. I mean, that is explosive growth by any standard. But the real question is, what's actually driving it?
And that leads us to the crucial question, right? Is this growth for real? Is it a sign of genuine organic momentum? Or is it just the result of a very, very expensive shopping spree? To really get to the truth, we've got to dig into the numbers.
And the answer, really, lies squarely in their incredibly aggressive M&A strategy. You see, they haven't just grown, they've gone out and fundamentally transformed their entire business by buying up other companies.
And just look at this. This is a dramatic pivot in where their money comes from. Service subscriptions have absolutely skyrocketed by 137%, and now they're the main event. And this isn't some happy accident. It's the direct result of them going out and buying companies like Sync3, Amelia, and Interactions, and essentially inheriting their subscription-based models.
You can see the impact of this crystal clear right here in the Americas. With a mind-boggling 128% growth, this surge is coming almost entirely from folding in those new US-based acquisitions. To put it bluntly, they've bought their way to a much bigger footprint in their home market.
All right, but this isn't just a story about clever accounting or financial maneuvering. I mean, to justify this kind of aggressive expansion, SoundHound has to have a real technological edge, right? Something that actually sets it apart. So what's under the hood?
So, here's the core of it. Their patented speech-to-meaning technology. Now think about how most voice assistants work. They take your speech, turn it into text, and then try to figure out what that text means. It's 2 steps. SoundHound does it all at once. It gets the meaning as you're speaking, a bit like how the human brain works. The result is just faster and more accurate.
And what this means in practice is that their AI can handle these incredibly complex requests that would just, well, they'd completely stump most other voice assistants. For example, you could literally say, find me a hotel in San Francisco between $300 and $600 that's pet-friendly, has a pool, but don't show me anything without Wi-Fi. And it gets all of that, all those layers in one go. That's a massive leap forward for making these conversations feel natural.
And you know, it's really not just about answering questions anymore. With their Amelia 7 platform, they're pushing into what they're calling agentic AI. Now, what does that mean? Well, in simple terms, it's an AI that doesn't just talk to you, it acts for you. It can understand what you want, figure out a plan, and then actually go and do the task, whether that's booking a table or handling an IT support ticket. Okay, so impressive tech, rapid growth, it all sounds fantastic. But, and this is a big but, there are some pretty significant red flags waving here. So let's get into the risks and that sky-high valuation. And HDIN Research really gets straight to the heart of the matter. They highlight a critical weakness in the company's financial controls. Now, what does that actually mean? It suggests that in their frantic rush to grow, they might have let some really fundamental internal accounting processes slide. And for any investor, that is a major concern. And here is the bottom line. Despite all that record revenue we talked about, the company is absolutely burning through cash. A negative operating cash flow of nearly $100 million. That means they are spending far more than they're making from their actual day-to-day business. And let's be honest, that is just not sustainable in the long run. So look, if you're watching this company, these are the critical points to keep an eye on. First, can they stop burning through cash? Second, can they actually make all these different companies they've bought work together as one cohesive unit? Third, can they fix those material weaknesses in their financial controls? And finally, the big one, can they genuinely hold their own against the absolute giants of tech like Google and Amazon? So where does all this leave us for the year ahead? Well, to put it mildly, SoundHound is at a pivotal make or break moment. Look, to put it as simply as possible, SoundHound has gone out and successfully bought scale. They're a much bigger company now. But the real test, the great challenge for 2026, is to prove they can stitch all these expensive new parts together into a single profitable business that can actually grow on its own 2 feet, not just by buying more companies. And that leaves us with one final and I think quite provocative question. SoundHound clearly has a technological edge, there's no doubt about that. But is that edge going to be enough? Is it enough to overcome these really significant financial hurdles and achieve their grand mission of, well, voice enabling the entire world? I think the next 12 months are going to be incredibly telling.
Now, our breakdown today was based on some in-depth research from the folks at HDN. If you want to go even deeper into the numbers, the tech, the risks we've discussed, you can find their full detailed report over at hdnresearch.com. Thanks for joining me.